Hi, this is Pat. Today we're talking about the different types of violence. We are today talking about some specific ones, including psychological abuse and violence. So psychological, that's when we're getting into somebody's head. We want to control them. We are using power by getting into their head to control them. Power and control, always talking about those two things. Now, for example, some of the ways that I psychologically get into someone's head to control them is by putting them down. Every day, I'm going to tell them that they're not good enough, that they're too stupid, that I don't know why I put up with them. I don't know why anybody else would ever want them. They should be feeling pretty darn lucky that I put up with them. Putting them down, pointing out their errors, constantly criticizing them in a negative, destructive manner. All day long, instead of saying, hey, you did a good job on that, saying something along the lines of, well, it's about time you did something. See that? Negative, sarcastic, and critical. Putting people down. That is a type of violence. So I want you to think real closely, I want you to think deeply about the times when you may have put someone down. Maybe it's a habit, it's a way that you've gotten used to communicating, because some people are like that. I have a person in my life who is automatically sarcastic, automatically points out the negatives no matter how many positive things have been done. And that's a habit. So catching ourselves doing that. Do you have a negative conversation going on in your head? And so therefore, when things appear, you comment in a negative fashion, putting people down. Another one, an important one that we are going to talk about before you can discharge, you need to have a clear definition of, is mind games. So mind games. That's when we try to make somebody think something that just isn't true. We might even try to make them think they're crazy. We might even make them not be able to trust their own thinking. There are many ways that we use mind games. Some of them is just outright telling a lie, lying to the individual, withholding information from them, lying by omission, in other words, leaving stuff out, not giving them all the facts, or just blatantly lying. Well, somebody told me that you were talking to some person, man, woman, whatever, at the bar, at the gas station, when we know that totally isn't true. Another mind game, and some of you who have been around me for a while know some of the ones that I have personally used, but one of these was a mind game that I used with my husband, who is now deceased. He was a very difficult guy to wake up in the morning. He did not want to get out of bed. He'd been that way his whole life. So I wanted him to get out of bed in the morning because I wanted him to go to work because I needed him to work. Okay, this was 100 years ago when mostly men were in the workplace. So he wouldn't get up, and he would argue, he would fight, he would cuss, he would swing, he would go through all kinds of stuff in the morning. So one morning, I just had it with him. I told him, okay, you get up or you don't get up. And I went in the kitchen to make his lunch, and I made him his normal lunch, Only in the sandwich, I placed a note. And on that note, I wrote, "This could have been poison. This could have been poison." Put it in the middle of his sandwich, right along with his lettuce. Put it in the bag, in his box. He got up, he went to work, took his lunch, went to work. So at lunchtime, he pulls out his sandwich. He takes a bite and he says, "Oh, there's something in there." He opens the sandwich, and inside is the note, "This could have been poison." What was I telling him? What was the message I was giving him? What was the mind game that I was playing on him? And how did I all of a sudden have power? I used the power in order to gain control, to let him know I was sick and tired of his behavior in the morning. Power and control. I let him know that at any time I could have killed him. I could have poisoned him. He could be dying right now. And in that moment, I gained control. Well, long story short, it was a while before he ate any more of my sandwiches or anything else. So, power and control. So there's psychological, there's included in that are put downs and mind games. There are many other types of violence, and one of those is sexual. Now you may say, "Oh, I've never raped anyone, I've never molested anyone, I've never hurt anyone sexually." Okay? So, do you ever call someone by a body part? You're a whatever. Do you ever tell uncomfortable jokes and stories or sexualized stories in front of people, making the other person feel uncomfortable? Do you ever require people in your life, your partners, to have sex even if they don't want to? Possibly. Those are forms. Those are forms of sexual abuse. Another form, withholding sex. That means I'm going to use sex as my power in order to control you, to get you to do what I want. So I'm angry with you, so I say, "No, even if even if I feel like having sex, I'm not going to have sex with you because you're not doing what I want you to do." That's sexual abuse. Now, I'm not saying you should have sex when you don't feel like it, when you don't feel well, or you're not in the mood. I'm not saying that. I'm saying about withholding sex as a tool, as a weapon to get what you want from the other person. That's what I'm saying. That's abuse. What would another issue is using people as an object. In other words, they're just somebody to play with, but I'm not really committed. So I'm going to have a whole bunch of one-night stands, and in those one-night stands, I might say, "I love you, you're my everything, blah, blah, blah," and then I'm off to the next person. That is sexual abuse. They gave you sex because you had promised them or told them something. That is sexual abuse. Okay, so those are but a few of them. On your paper are several others that you need to fill out and complete. So I need you, again, I'm having a problem, guys, not getting those names on those papers for your assignment. Make sure your first and last name is on there. The type of the group, which is PAIP, P-A-I-P, the date that you completed it. Because you see, when you send me that stuff, when you take a picture of it and you send it to me, I click it and put it in your file in the storage, in the cloud storage, okay? Each of us has a file in there. Each of you has a file. And in there are your assignments. Now, if I get an email from somebody with that assignment, and their email doesn't have their name in it, it's like oldshoes2@gmail. I don't know who oldshoes2@gmail is. So if your name is not there, and your name is not on your paperwork, I don't know who you are, and I don't know where to save it, and I don't know where to give credit to it. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, very good. So please put your name on there. In order to get full coverage, you need to be able to call me, text me, let me know how you're paying for this. If somebody else is paying for it, you put that on the paper. If you are paying for it, you need to call 217-954-1128 and pay over the phone. Come to the office between 9 and 5, Monday through Friday, with the exact change. We will take that cash and we will write you a receipt. You can mail a check, 300 South Broadway, Suite 110A, as in Apple, in Urbana 61801. Okay, so now, again, since this is a one-way street, I'm doing all the talking. Your homework and your progress note must be very detailed. I need you to explain what you're talking about, giving me ideas and explaining when you have used these types of violence and what are you going to do different. Are you able to do something different? Because you see, these behaviors become ingrained habits. We may not even realize we're putting somebody down. We may not realize that we're sexually abusing someone. We may not realize that we are using a mind game in order to manipulate the person into getting them to do what we want them to do. Because we've done it so long, or we were raised with that, and so we never identified that as a form of abuse. So that's what we're doing now, and that's why I need you to be very careful in answering all of those questions and filling out all of those examples. Okay, I'm going to hope that after all this hard work, I saved it. I've been losing videos after I've made them, so you may have seen fewer on my page. Okay, have a good day. Stay well. We are shooting for June to open. I'm hoping. I will keep you posted. Thank you so much for your participation.